Memorial Day Thread. Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. Jason's Vinyl Lab is doing Memorial Day Thread. I need to be timely on this one because tomorrow is Memorial Day. So of course Memorial Day is to remember those who died or served during wartime. And I'm certainly going to celebrate that, but I'm also going to look at two ideas, two themes: patriotism and the effects of war. And I'm going to look at that through various art movements. Give the hero three times three, hurrah, hurrah. So we're going to start with vinyl. Quintessential music genres from America are definitely jazz, and I would also say the musical. So we're going to start with this musical of Porgy and Bess and a few jazz albums. Now this book screams America, and it's even the American art book. Look at that, red, white, and blue. Oh, and by the way, I dressed red, white, and blue. Very patriotic. So in the American art book, I could pick any of these, but I'm going to show an art piece representing war, and this is Washington at the Battle of Princeton. So Jason's Vinyl Lab is also showing color, red, white, and blue. I am going to do that. He pulled out red, white, and blue vinyl, and his vinyl were gorgeous. I did pull out 3 books that are definitely red, white, and blue, and then they're all 3 Penguin, but they're from 2 different series. So this is the Drop Cap series, and then this is a series that reprinted all of F. Scott Fitzgerald's work. And each book has a different Art Deco style. The 2 that I picked were the very first in the Drop Cap series, which is Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Now, this was the first one I bought, and I actually bought this used, and that was a huge mistake, and I learned from that because it came with all kinds of like stuff on the back and where they had ripped off the sticker, and it was just, I was disappointed, and from then on I bought these new. Now here we have Proust, Swan's Way. I've never read this, and in fact it's not even open, so I'm actually going to open this on air, and I've never read this, and I am going to read the first line. Let's hope it's short. Let's hope it's only like 5 words, but probably not. This is a translation. It was translated by Lydia Davis. Part 1 is called Cambrai, and I have no idea what that means. For a long time, I went to bed early. Okay, there you go. That was not painful, was it? For a long time, I went to bed early. And there you go. That is the first sentence in this world-renowned masterpiece. That was my blue pick. You know what? Why don't we read the first sentence of all 3? Okay, Pride and Prejudice. Oh, I should know what this one is. Oh, it's so famous. Dang, I feel stupid that I can't say what it is. As soon as I read this line, I'm gonna know it. Oh, yes. It is a truth Why did I not remember this? It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. It is a truth universally acknowledged. How did I forget that? Slap, slap. Slap, slap. Let's just read F. Scott Fitzgerald's first line, This Side of Paradise. Book 1 is entitled The Romantic Egotist. Chapter 1, Amory, son of Beatrice. Amory Blaine inherited from his mother every trait except the stray, inexpressible few that made him worthwhile.
A little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware.
So let's stay with books before we move on to comics, and I still have a few more music. I think in line with patriotism, it is important that we use our free speech not to just say whatever we want, okay, but to right the wrongs of the country. And in line with that, I pulled off this book called La Linea, which is The Border. Now, this was at my school, and they had boxes of books that they were going to throw away. So I grabbed this one for my husband. And even though it's a kid's book, I should probably read it, right? But, you know, this is a big issue in our country, and it directly affects me, and that is illegal immigration. And I think that recent presidents have flirted with this idea And it's gone from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's a very divisive issue in the United States, but we need to come to some consensus and we need to fix this problem. Why? Because whether you're here legally in this country or not, it's a human rights issue. We've got the USA's Best Trips. This is one of those guidebooks that are kind of not necessary anymore because everything's on the internet. And I've done about 2 or 3 of these. They're so much fun. So we're going to go back to war. 3 books that are like the granddaddy of the war books, right? I could have gone with the Peloponnesian War. But anyways, I went with Virgil and Homer. And for Homer, we have the Odyssey, and I don't know why, but I couldn't find my copy of the Iliad, so it's around here somewhere. I should have shown that because they're like the Alpha and the Omega. They just go together like 2 peas in a pot. Here we have the Odyssey, which is the return voyage and the effects of war on a family. The Aeneid by Virgil, which is about the fall of Troy and the founding of Rome. This is all having to do with war and the effects of war. And that's going to bring us to something a little more modern, which I've shown before. So this is a book of First World War poems. I think this brings up an important discussion about how so many artists, writers, painters, musicians, they went through war experiences and they changed them and they create art that influences a society in very subtle but powerful ways. When you think about children's authors like J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and they are writing about the effects of war in ways that really affect society and children's interpretation of the world.
And walked off to look for America.
And to end our books, we're going to go back to Julius Caesar, which is Shakespeare play. Now, you're going to laugh because, yeah, I have these No Fear Shakespeare. I've got another one. I bought these for my classroom. And then many of the kids, they just don't pick up books anymore. And so I just brought them home. We're going to look at this description of the character of Brutus. While the other conspirators act out of envy and rivalry, only Brutus truly believes that Caesar's death will benefit Rome. Brutus's sense of honor is also his weakness, as he tends to assume that his fellow Romans are as high-minded as he is, which makes it easy for others to manipulate him. I think that is very important because we have a whole generation, I guess they're called the lost generation, of writers like Hemingway, who observed war and they wrote about their experiences, and they were afraid of words like honor and loyalty because these words get people killed. Now here we go. We got to go with the patriotic theme. We've got American speeches.
Cadillac zoom in America, industry boom in America.
Well, in a room in America.
Okay, I lied. I have one more book. So I showed this book recently, and this is Kazuo Ishiguro's The Remains of the Day. I think that this is a masterpiece. This is one of my desert island books. This book is about the effects of war on generations of people. And the interesting thing about this, it's really about the secondhand effects of war, how it affects the people on the periphery. It's about way more than that, but if you've never read this, you really need to. And of course, you could watch the excellent movie, but this one has so much more detail. I just think that this is worth diving into.
Decent and honorable and well-meaning. So are all of you here, all decent and honorable and well-meaning gentlemen.
Along with patriotism, I pulled out this Star-Spangled Rhythm. So this is a 4 CD set of patriotic music from Broadway and Hollywood films. The first song says it all. I Want to Hear a Yankee Doodle Tune by George M. Cohan. In fact, I recently featured Mickey Rooney playing George M. Cohan in a television special on a record because I thought, and it's an excellent record. So anyways, there you go. Star-Spangled Rhythm in keeping with the patriotic tone. Let's go back to art. So here we have Doré's illustrations for Paradise Lost, and this is like the original war. This is the war between the angels in heaven. And this is all about Lucifer's fall. Gorgeous, gorgeous art by Gustave Doré. In keeping in line with the idea of artists being influenced by war, we have so many directors of movies like Stanley Kubrick and Oliver Stone who try to delve into war and the effects of war on the American psyche. That's going to bring us to Watchmen. I know you're like, that's not Watchmen. I don't know what's going on, but I can't find my copy of Watchmen. That's why this summer I really have to do an overhaul. So pretend that this is a big smiley face and it's got like a drop of blood running down. I mean, it's kind of like a smiley face, but it is about war and generations and how the wars affect culture, society. It's just a really, really great piece of art.
I started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my
war influenced a generation of horror films. Coming the Cold War, the Atomic Age, any giant creature film like Godzilla was made to play on Cold War and Atomic Age fears. Cold War is more spy, but okay, sorry, I could have left that out. You get what I mean. So this one is about giant ants. Cool, VHS. Finally, we're going to end with comics. And comics often play with the idea of patriotism. The colors, now I know, red, white, blue, and a lot of yellow. But Wonder Woman and Superman are quintessentially patriotic characters. Now, what's funny is Wonder Woman was born out of bondage. So what does that say about the underbelly of the American psyche? Although I dislike this cover, I mean, what could be more patriotic than this cover? I mean, they are like pushing the patriotism on us. So this is a perfect Memorial Day cover. You've got truth, justice, and the American way. And you've got the flag waving. He's saluting. I don't like that cover. Not because of the imagery. I don't like the art. I prefer that. There you go. They're like, come on, that's gorgeous. I'm pretty sure that's Alex Ross. And if you go to Marvel, like, what could be more patriotic than Captain America? And there you go. I mean, you got the shield, which is red, white, and blue. His costume is red, white, and blue.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now.
There is a trip into Memorial Day dealing with patriotism and the effects of war. If you have any comments, I'd love to read them. And I wish everyone a wonderful Memorial Day. Thank you for your support.
America.